Hey guys, it's Miss Bedino checking in on Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. I told you I was going to come on and do a short video about one of the worksheets that you have for this week, in case you want to go back and check, or in case you're working on it now. I also have some video to show you from this scene. So this is one of my favorite scenes from the book. This is chapter 15, where we learn that Atticus is guarding Tom Robinson's jail cell because he's afraid of what might happen to Tom Robinson. You should already know who Tom Robinson is. Atticus is representing him as his lawyer because it is said that he raped a white girl named Mayella, which we know the rules are no good from previous incidences between the children and their father. So one of the questions was about the mob scene that comes, and why do they come to Atticus in the middle of the night towards the jail cell, and what are they doing, and what can we guess that they're doing. So if you look at your week 3, which is due tonight at 11:59, okay, I am looking at the view assignment, and I am looking at the one that says trash. Okay, so if you click on that, it should look like this, and there's 2 questions for chapter 15 on there. So why does a mob show up at the jailhouse, and what do you think their intentions are? And then look back at Scout's words and actions, and how does Scout diffuse the situation without realizing it. Okay, so we're going to actually start watching the scene. I have it on Amazon. I'm going to pull it up for you right here. So this is Atticus, if you see my cursor here, sitting at the jail cell, and then here is the mob of people. Now notice, even though it is a black and white video, all the members of this mob are white. So we want to take that into consideration on why they would be coming up to Atticus. They're not very fond of Atticus at this moment because he is representing a black man, and that's just against societal norms. So they have a problem with this, and they're going to let Atticus know about it. So in the meantime, Scout and Jem and Dill sneak out of the house and are watching on the sidelines.
You in there, Mr. Finch?
He is. He's asleep. Don't wake him.
You know what we want. Get aside from that door, Mr. Finch.
So just pausing it right here, I want to bring you back to some of the earlier chapters. This man is Mr. Cunningham. If you remember the student Walter Cunningham from the earlier chapters, Walter is extremely poor. His dad's a farmer. Very quiet, well-off, reserved type family. So it's a bit of a shocker that he is a part of this mob. Mr. Cunningham, if you remember, he could only pay back his dues to Atticus as his lawyer through crops and goods and things like that. So it's really odd for him to be in this situation and to be a part of this group. So we can't really consider him a leader at this point. He's more of a follower of the group. So I'm sure someone told him that they were going to take care of Tom Robinson, and he was kind of forced to go along. So I don't really like him in this spotlight because it really puts a negative light on him.
Walter, I think you ought to turn right around and go back home. Hectate's around here somewhere.
No, he ain't. Thinking his bunch is out chasing around old Sam looking for us.
We know what he was, but we come in this other way.
Yeah, you ain't never thought about that, had you, Mr. Finch?
I thought about it.
I can't see Atticus.
Well, that changes things.
Atticus! Hey, Atticus.
Jim, go home and take Scout and Dill home with you. Son, I said go home.
No, sir.
Well, I'll send him home.
Don't you touch him,
Finch. Jim, I want you to please leave.
No, sir.
Jim?
I tell you, I ain't going.
So before we talk about Scout and who she's going to address, I hope you guys realize that the purpose of the mob is to hurt Tom Robinson. If we go back to the stories like The Hate You Give and some of the movies that I've shown throughout the years, like The Great Debaters, one of the topics that come up is the term lynching, which by definition, if you look it up, is basically the brutalization of a person that is inferior to somebody else. It can involve hanging, burning. It's gruesome. I know we saw bits and pieces of it on the Shoulders of Giants, the one movie about the Harlem Renaissance. And that's what they're going to do. They really want to hurt Tom Robinson to the extent of maybe even to death. And lynching is one of those topics that come up. But when a group develops the mob mentality, they become willing to do things they normally wouldn't do if they were in the right frame of mind. And they want justice for Mayella Ewell. But the problem is they're allowing their emotions to kind of take over their reasons, and they want to get a revenge against Tom Robinson, who's an innocent black man. So when Scout points out this next person who's going to Mr. Cunningham, she's going to remind him of a few things, and I want to see if you guys can kind of figure out what they are and why she points out Mr. Cunningham in the first place.
Mr. Cunningham. I said, hey, Mr. Cunningham. How's your entailment getting along? Don't you remember me, Mr. Cunningham? I'm Jean Louise Finch. You brought us some hickory nuts one early morning, remember? We had a talk. I went and got my daddy to come out and thank you. I go to school with your boy. I go to school with Walter. He's a nice boy. Tell him hey for me, won't you?
By mentioning Walter, she's mentioning that Mr. Cunningham has a son, just like Atticus has his 2 kids. So in saying this, not only is Mr. Cunningham a person, but Mr. Cunningham is a father. And what father is represented by being a part of a mob? So even though Scout is innocent, saying to Mr. Cunningham, don't you remember me? I go to school with your son. She's reminding him that he's a parent, and the actions that he takes, whatever they may be at this point, which we can assume is to hurt Tom Robinson, even though she might not know that, she's recognizing that he has people to look after, and this is not the way that you hold yourself and set an example for your children.
Something, Mr. Cunningham? Entailments are bad. Entailments.
Just side note, if you don't know what entailments are, it's the gain of property through inheritance. So he's fighting for a piece of property that was passed down through generations, and you have to go to court for that to maintain those properties. So it's a grueling process because Atticus and him have to go through the ringer of making sure that the property becomes his through those generations. So an old term, but that's what entailments means.
Atticus, I was just saying to Mr. Cunningham that entailments were bad, but not to worry. Takes a long time sometimes. What's the matter? I sure meant no harm, Mr. Cunningham.
No harm taken, young lady. I'll tell Walter you said hey. Let's clear out of here.
So ultimately, how does Scout diffuse the situation? First of all, she doesn't refer to this mob group as a mob. Okay, they're not just one whole group. She actually points out individuals such as Mr. Cunningham. So you're actually talking to a person that you know and respect. As a child, is respecting her adults, and talking to Mr. Cunningham as if he just was her student's father. But what she does is she calms Cunningham and the other men down by making them realize that they are all residents of Macomb and they represent the town. So what they do to a person, no matter who it is or what they look like, they're responsible for their actions. So her innocent remarks of just pointing at Mr. Cunningham and what he's doing there um, allows them to clear out and not harm Tom Robinson. So not, she doesn't even realize that she saved Tom Robinson's life in this respect. Um, but she points out the individuals to let them see that they're still people, and they should be responsible for their actions. So that's what makes the men realize that they can't do this in front of children. Nonetheless, that they're represented for where they come from, and the jobs that they have and the families that they have. So she saves Tom Robinson, but she also diffuses the situation. So here are your questions, right? We know the intentions of the mob, okay? And now looking back at her words and actions, even though they're innocent and harmless, she doesn't know why they're there to begin with. How does she make the situation less tense? You figure that group of men was against one person, and that was Atticus. If the children didn't show up, that could have went a totally different way. And Atticus might have not been able to fend for himself as one person. Okay, so when you're done that, please restate and answer those questions in complete sentences, and then you'll just turn that in. Tonight, everything's due at 11:59 p.m. If you have any questions, I am here for you. I hope you use this video to help you. If you love the movie clips, what I'm doing, because the next couple chapters are the trial scenes, which are even more important than anything else in the book. I'd be happy to show you some clips, but I definitely need some feedback. So anything, shoot me a private comment, and so I'm able to help you. I see most of them. Some do slip through the cracks, so just shoot a reminder if you don't understand. I am looking at your material. Those who are completing it, thank you so much. And those who need to keep going, hey, push yourselves. It's a short week. Use the weekend if you have to help you. I hope to see you soon. I miss you guys very much, and have a great day.